Hey John, what's up?
Hey, hi, hey, Nadal.
Yeah,
How you doing?
good to see you.
I've tried joining every video that is present. I'm joining LinkedIn. I've joined. I just said,
Okay.
let me wait here.
No, oh, yeah, you were supposed to be on this other side on the stream yard side, and then the rest of the guys are joining on the other end. So I think
Oh,
we can actually kick off because I didn't want us actually to go to run late. But you know what
yeah.
happened? I'm the one actually. You were right here on time. I'm the one who was coming late. So yeah, but you can jump right into it. Let me just see if everything is good on the other side. Let me see how many. Oh, let me just
Let me-
check on YouTube.
I'm also checking on my end.
Yeah, but good to see you.
I'm
But
good to
you're
see
still
you.
having the workspace. The yeah, good, good. So yeah. So, but in the meantime, I would like you to share your screen
Yes.
and yeah. So
So, share screen. Right.
right.
Just go to the clip where he said,
You can see my screen.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, not yet, not yet. Let
Oh,
me.
it's okay.
Aha,
Okay.
okay, good, good, good. I need to know worries, no worries. I need to add in the stage, so no worries. Um,
You can see today I'm in
okay, good.
studio.
Can you move away from the stream? Open maybe another,
Okay.
or possible to share just your that tab, just the tab
All right.
with the review here. All right, if you're joining us from the other end, welcome so much. We'll just jump right into it. No, 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 no fluff. uh, so let me see. All right.
Now,
Okay. Can you now
can you
open
confirm?
the notes? Yeah, I can see you're sharing the.
Mhm.
Good, 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 good. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. Let me add it to the stage now. Good. There you go. All right. I will, at some point, I think I might move away to sorry be at the center of this. Let me see. Four volumes, and Donald says that he's not done yet. There are more. There are more volumes to be done. Yeah. So of course, once those are out, I'll be on them. But I think I can hear some. You're good now.
Just
Good.
checking.
Nice, nice, nice. Good, good. It's good now. Nice, nice, nice.
Oh,
Let's
awesome.
take it. And I
All
see we
right.
have joining on all of three guys on. I think this is should be on YouTube. So that's good.
Yes.
For me, I always say the quorum is two. So two of us will say kick it. So I see guys have joined. So that's awesome. So I'll just do a quick intro of. I see guys have joined. So that's awesome. So I don't know. What you can do is you can mute on the sound. You can hear some echo back. You're good now. Just thumbs up. I had muted you, but just thumbs up is a good. Awesome,
Okay.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'll hand it over to you just in a minute. So, no, no, just quick introduction. This John Muchiri is a friend of mine. Something funny we have been. I don't know. Last time we met, I think it's been a while if we met, but he's just a good friend of mine. I see him online. We interact a lot on LinkedIn. Maybe one day I'll bring you on to just tell your story. I like guys telling their dev journey stories and things I've learned over time. So one time I think I need to bring you on board. But for today, we can just jump right into the book, today's book. And thank you so much for offering to review this book with us. And I'm just calling out on the rest of the guys. If you're watching this and you'd like to come and review any of the books that you're reading, especially the software engineering classics, like the clean coder, clean architecture, that series, pragmatic programmer, anything that is nice and like the must reads for devs, you're so much welcome to come on board and share with us. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to just kick it to John to take it away. Thank you, John, and welcome.
Awesome. Hope you can hear me well. You can get me, yeah? Hello? We good?
Yes, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. So awesome. So my name is John Muchiri, as Prof. Nada himself has said. It is awesome to be on this streaming platform. This is my first time that I'm getting outside the cave, so so I'm just happy. Most of the time, actually, I was the last time I was talking with him. I told him, I think, yeah, I was kind of um, trying to make a decision whether to come or not. But I said I will have to come. Like this is a year that I have to get outside there and meet people and yeah, know people. So before us is a very awesome book. The book is called The Clean Coder by Robert C. Martin, one of the best writers in programming. And I came to love this book actually. I picked it up on December, late December there, 2023. Um, I have a mentor, and this mentor, after talking with the mentor and just telling the mentor that I really want to grow professionally in the field of software, then I was recommended this book, which is so awesome, very awesome. So, the book teaches you how you can become a professional software developer or engineer, stroke engineer. Most of the people here outside, we are software engineers, but we are not professionals. It's like we are just doing this thing for, it's like a hobby. It's like it's just by the way, like you just found yourself in the software engineering field. But this book, when you get to read about it, it changes you how you view software engineering. The same as other field, let's say medicine, doctors, and nurses, pilots. We software engineers, we are called to be professionals in our work. So these are an awesome picture at the beginning of the book. It is called the Cat's Eye Nebula. If I tell you are a true scientist and you're a true engineer, then I know you love science and you love anything to do with let's talk about the space, going to the space. So this is a good picture that is called the Cat's Eye Nebula, which is it is similar to Sorcerer of Saurian from the film of Lord of Rings. I've watched many movies, but I think I should watch these. I'm not really sure. But anything with sorcerers is like more of horror. I'm not sure of a horror guy. So, but although the Cat's Eye Nebula was among the first planetary nebulas ever to be discovered, it's one of the most complex planetary nebulae ever seen in space. A planetary nebula from where sun-like stars gently eject outer gaseous layers to form brighter nebulae with amazing twisted shapes. So this is what the author decided to put on the cover of the book. So it channels you back to science, and science is amazing, and software engineering is awesome in that way of science. So the book begins with an awesome story of something called the Challenger. There's a space Challenger, and there was a disaster in January 28, 1986. So this period is when different countries were trying to conquer the space. We're talking about Russia, US, but US that time they wanted to prove that they can conquer the space by moving to the space. So there were engineers who were tasked to create this space shuttle. And what happened actually, the space shuttle crashed within about 70 about some seconds just after the flight. And the engineers of that shuttle had told the managers that this shuttle is going to fail. Like one of the modules, or rather one of the components within the space shuttle, was had some problem, and the engineers told the managers that we cannot do this because the moment that we put this shuttle in space, then it's just going to blow up. But the managers, we know the pressure, yeah, the managers that put on people. So all right, I know they are good managers. So what happened, the managers wanted to prove that this shuttle can go to the space, and so they pushed so hard, and they had to say that the launch must be done. Okay, then the engineer said, okay, let's do this, guys, we have made it. But some of them refused even to watch the broadcast of the shuttle moving up the sky. And after some seconds, just after it went by, the shuttle just blew up, and 7 brave astronauts, including a school teacher called Christina, it's called Krista, were lost. Just imagine the whole school. You have a teacher, you have someone they're watching on the TV. You guys are going to space, and now the shuttle kind of just burst. And if at all if at all the managers had listened to the engineers, it means the shuttle would not have failed. And this brings a good picture of software engineers. We are engineers, and we are called to stand to what is true. Like we are called to stand on what our craft. Nada is called the software craftsman. So we are called to stand with this craft in a way that we know it well, in a way that we can stand to say that we cannot go this direction. This is the best way. We are there to advise. So this book kind of tells you that we are not just called to be just people behind the screens, just coding, but we are called to be professional software engineers. And something that you're going to get all through first is to know who is a software professional. Like let me just hide this. All right. So who is a software professional, and how does a professional behave? That is number 2. How does a professional deal with conflict, tight schedules, and unreasonable managers? Let's remember the story of the shuttle. And when and how should a professional say no? Yeah. And how does a professional deal with pressure? I know in this field of software engineering, when you engineer, people assume that, like you're the genius, you're the geek behind. So every tight schedule, every software that you're building, they expect that you do it in a record short time, and in a very short time, although the software may be complex. But now this book is trying to tell us what is the best way to communicate the time, the deadlines. What is the best way to deal with meetings? what is the best way to behave when you are a software engineer. So I'm just going to cover about 4 segments. Most of the time in school, we are told that the teacher now is going to cover only 60%, or rather, not 60, actually 30%. And the student is going to cover the 70. So I'm going to cover about 40. And then, because I cannot preempt everything within the book within one setting. So, so bear with me. I'm going to do 4 segments. And if at all I get another chance, Prophet, if Nada is going to invite me again, then I can complete the other sections. So the first
Yeah,
section.
actually, just cut it short. Actually, John, what I want you to do is just take your time. Don't have to rush through anything because we can do it in multi-part. So it's good that you've already said that we might not cover everything today. So, of course, the door is wide open for next session. Any available moment we'll get, like next week, we can jump on another call to complete it or even do a theology that session.
Awesome.
So, yeah, take your time and you're doing good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm now at peace because, people can assume you can do a book in the whole setting here. Actually, you can, but let's just cover a little bit, but deep. So the first segment is called professionalism, and this is why I took this book. How do you become a professional? So I had highlighted before that if at all there are people who are professional in this field, it means there are people who are non-professionals. So it means there are people who are here just to get maybe a pay, or rather to get money, or rather to just pass a hobby in a way. Yes, we should take this thing as a hobby, but at the same time, because it's something that you're going to do for a long time, that if at all AI or they're not going to take our jobs also, but if at all it's going to stay for long, it means you should be a professional within this field. So an example is given. I don't know whether you have ever I have a couple of friends, couple of engineers who have worked on systems where they dealt with the financial system, and just a simple line of code made huge loss, can lose about 1M. So what are you going to do as a professional? So actually, the example is given within the book that a professional, if at all you have made a bug within the system and you have lost some amount of money, you're supposed to do as a professional, you're supposed to write a check back to the company telling them that you're going to give back the money because you're a professional. So there's no instance where you as a professional should assume that I'm just doing this work for the company. All right, they're paying me, I go home. If at all things fail, okay, this is part of the work. No. Like, number one rule is that you should do this job as you're doing. It's like it's your own project. Like it's a calling. It's a calling. Many people say that being a priest or being a priest, a spiritual person, you should be called to do this work. So the same thing, for you to become a software engineer, you should have that calling, that I'm called to do this, so that in case of anything, you take responsibility. So that gets us to the next short module, which says that do no harm as a professional. Most of the time, okay, when I was just starting in software engineering, and then you are given access to the production database, and then you hear that an intern has already crashed the database, or rather crashed the whole system. It's full of bugs. Actually, I did that as an intern, and everything was messed up. You're just there, you're just chilling. People are struggling there. You're trying to help them, but you don't know what's happening. But now, as a professional, we are called not to create bugs within the system. So, in order to be a professional, you must avoid at any cost, or rather minimize pushing bugs within the system, because I know someone is asking, it is unreasonable to say that we can have a software without bugs. I know bugs are part of the process when you're building the system or building a software. But now, as a profession, you are not supposed to push these bugs to production. That's why we have a test environment, you have a test server, you have a UAT where people can test. And now, when you move to production, you make sure that the software, or rather, a system that is going to production, has no bugs. And if at all it has bugs, then you, as a professional, you are not supposed to push that system, if at all, even if the time, even if it has already lapsed the scheduled time that you're supposed. You're either supposed to communicate. You're going to get that bit in the as we proceed on, but at no point should you push a bug within the production. Of course, uh, people are going to say software is so complex and we have to create bugs. But remember this: we are talking software engineer as a professional. What do doctors do before they get their to their career? They are supposed to take an oath that they are not going to cause no harm. And have you ever even tried to understand how the body works? Have you ever tried even to understand how the heart, you can take an organ within the body and you can study it for months, if at all not years. Even some doctors are still amazed how the brain works, how the hearts work. Imagine from the time that you're born, that heart has never stopped. So, but doctors take a note that they are not going to cause any harm. So, why why can we as software engineers not take that oath that you're not going to cause harm within the system, you're not going to push bugs within the production environment? So there's a call actually you're getting. So uh, but as a matter of fact, let me just be lenient a little bit. It takes time to mature in this profession. So you start with an error rate. Yes, you're going to push some things in UAT people test, and there's some errors, and then you have to solve them. But the goal here is to make sure that you minimize the errors as much as possible. Minimize the bug rate error, um, so that the system that is being used by the end users, it doesn't have any errors. So I know the book was talking about QA, people of QA. Within different companies, they have different people who test the softwares. You can have people within the company. You can have business developers. You can have people, just anyone within the company who can test. But it's so unprofessional that some folks use these people to catch the bugs. Yeah. I know. As I speak, this is a double-edged sword, because at some point I've been there where you use people to catch the bugs. You say, I'll just wait. When they say there's a bug, then what's happening? Let me check it. Yeah. But as much as possible, we are not supposed to use people to catch the bugs. You're supposed to we are going to get that later. You're supposed to write test. And when I talk of test, I'm talking about unit test, component test, where you test the whole system. You write test when you are writing the code. So alongside, when you are writing the code, you write first the test, then you write the code that you want that code to be tested by the test that you have already written. So so I've talked about never release a code, and never use people as bug catchers. So so this next thing I talked about test. So I know many engineers around, if at all you're not working in a big corporation, most of these startups, they really don't care about tests, or rather they just want a system to go to production very fast within a very short time. But now here is the question to the professional: are you going to put the code to production without testing it. So the writer of the book is suggesting that he's not talking about 30% test coverage. When you're coding within Codility, okay, if at all you're doing an interview or what, you have to pass all the test coverage so that people can say you have passed that question. You cannot pass 30% and say that person tried, so let's see whether he's going to. But you have to pass all the 100 test coverage so that you can say a code is working correctly. So we are not suggesting that you test part of the code, but it's all the code. As I say this, it is speaking to me also. it is. I'm talking about, if I know you're spiritual, you've read the Bible, I love the Bible also. It's a double-edged sword. So when we are talking, I'm also asking myself, do I pass the 100 test coverage? When there is pressure, do you write those tests? Some engineers really don't love tests, but tests are so necessary for you to become a professional developer or professional engineer. You're not supposed to push code if at all you're not tested. So do no harm to the structure. I talked about it. Structure is a whole. When you talk about structure, you're talking about the whole code itself. A software or rather a software component can be quite. Let's talk about microservices. You have different components working there. You have maybe a user component. You have a module for maybe applying to jobs. You have different. So you're supposed to do no harm to the structure. Maybe a certain microservice is depending on another microservice. Then the service that you're working on, you have caused it not to work. So you're doing harm to the whole structure, to the whole component, or rather to the whole software that you have deployed. So do no harm to structure. We are talking about being a professional developer. Can see it's 9:35. Nada, you can come anytime, but I'm just going on.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. You tell me when time is quite gone. You just So
Okay.
the next thing is work ethic. Here's where we are caught, man. Normally developers, we get to work. If at all, it's a startup, or rather, you see developers coming at 11 a.m. They're now just entering the workplace. And then before 5 p.m., at 3 p.m., you've already taken your backpack. You're ready to go home very fast. So work ethic. I remember there is a story of a Japan person. I remember when they were bombed, the Hiroshima bomb. That after the bomb was dropped, this guy the next day he reported to work, and he had those injuries from the bomb. Like, that is a work ethic which was just over to the moon. So the same thing, as professional developers, we are called to give time for the people we're working for. At standard, Kenyan standard time is 40 hours per week. It means you get in at 8, then leave. You leave at work at 5. So we're talking about giving those faithful hours to the employer, someone you're working for. It is not a must that you're working for someone. You can you can have your own startup, but you have to put in the work. You have to put in 40 hours, faithful hours for the work that you're doing. So for you to become a professional, you cannot say, I'm going to code for 3 hours. You're going to talk about something there below, something called zone. I know we really love that, but you're going to talk about it. So you have to put in hours for the employer, or rather on the work that you're doing. So that means that you have 40 hours within the week. Then you have 20. Let's do some maths. There's some maths I want to do here. In a week, we have 168 hours. In a week, we have 168 hours. You're supposed to give the employer 40. So it means you have a remainder of about over 200 or so hours. So 40 hours you give to the employers, 20 you're supposed to give it to your own career. Like 20 hours, it means that you're going to learn. Software engineering is evolving. If I don't sleep for only 1 year without coding, it means you can be out of the market because things are changing. I remember when back in campus we are learning about big language models like LLMs, and just 2023 you saw what happened. You saw chat gpt is here, and before you're using stack overflow to really debug and what, but within a very short time everything has changed. Like you can use AI is it's a helper, it's an enabler. It can make work more easier. So it means if at all you don't learn these tools, you're there just saying that you guys who are using ChatGPT, you're old school, or rather, not old school per se, or rather, you guys are just trying to make it more easier. You're going to find someone who is going to use it much, much better. And the thing with technology, you have to learn every day. So these 20 hours, you have to be faithful. Like for me, I normally give myself 1 hour for learning new stuff. Like just 1 hour, you just go there, you learn about what are the new technologies, and you have to be consistent. 1 hour you can take, 1 hour is quite some good time. You can take 20 minutes to do a book, 20 minutes to research on new trends, what's happening. And then if at all you're in good, let's talk about Twitter or rather LinkedIn, you can follow up key people within big companies who normally post about AI and what, and then you can learn from their insights. Like something has come up, then you research on it, and then you can take up a new language. That's it. Personally, maybe you're working on Java, you can take up a new language, let's say Ruby or rather Golang, and then you just within those 20 minutes learn something, learn how the function, how different the function are written in a new language. Yeah. So those 20 hours you take in for your career, and if at all you don't do this, then you're not going to be a professional in any way. Then you have 108 hours left. So 56 hours used for sleep. I know many people don't sleep. Many engineers are working at 11 p.m. until 2 p.m. You're supposed to sleep at least 6 hours, 7 hours. So 56 hours you have to sleep. So divide it by 7. So you still have hours there. Then you have 52 more hours to do everything else. So you have 20 hours. So somebody is going to complain, Manze, I don't have time to chill. I don't have time to watch my best, maybe an episode. But you have more 52 hours there. You can choose to read books. You can choose to go maybe swimming, play football, and what. Just do something outdoor. Most of the time you're seated within your computer, within a classroom or within an office. Just find something to do there outside. So I covered about this, knowing your field. Within those 20 hours, just learn something fun. Don't just learn something that doesn't amaze you. Like for me, recently I was doing a research on Project Kuiper, done by Amazon, and how they build those satellites within the space. Rather, they are trying to interlink the internet problem within places where internet has not gone. So you find these people building this stuff. You go to the YouTube, find what they are doing, and they are saying, or rather, these engineers, what they are doing, amazing stuff. Just learn something amazing, then try to copy it. You can create small projects. Just do them. Do something amazing. I have a friend I know. He's an engineer. I don't know whether I can say his name, but Felix is awesome. Like he was working on automating his whole house. Like he can within miles away, he can switch off the lights within home. He can turn on music. That is something awesome. You're working on something that it's fun. So 20 hours are for you to grow. Then you have to continuously learn. As we say, continuous integration, continuous development, or rather deployment. You have to learn continuously. Read books, articles, tweets, everything. Go to conferences, come to these meetings like today. We are talking about this stuff. Yeah, that is awesome. So you are learning new stuff. So just show up to these events. Yeah. So um, there's something I'm going to talk. The next thing for you to become a professional developer, you have to practice. And by practice, we're not talking about when you're working. When you're working, you're not practicing. Actually, you are just trying to deliver these maybe software to uh, trying to deliver this software. So, but practice the meaning you have some dojo, you have some kata. Let's talk about an example is what is this called? You can talk about lead code. Yeah, you can do some lead code questions. You can do one in a day. Like that is practice. It's something you're doing apart from the work. So you have to practice for you to become better in your skill. So and that goes into I saw there is a video I saw Nada with a guitar there, like the bass guitar. Actually, me also I have a guitar. I love to play guitar. For you to play guitar, you have to. Yes, you're going to have a jam one day. Nada just called me.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So, for to be a musician, when you're a musician learn their craft by practicing, not performing. It's not the day. When you meet people about are rather performing. I'm lucky enough. I'm in a choral choir, so we take time to practice our vocals. Like you see, their bass one, bass two, their tenors and what sorts. You take time to practice. You can practice over 4 weeks, and you're going to present the song within maybe 5 minutes or so. So it means that professional programmers, we do not learn, or rather learn our craft when we are working, but rather we learn it when you are practicing. When you're grinding on that lead code, when you're grinding on that codility or whatever you use to learn, or rather to practice, that is the time that you are learning. And then the time that you are now presenting is a very short time. When you're working and you're doing stuff, you're doing amazing stuff, that is the time that you are. So just learn that without without even practicing, we have a rule some within some choral or rather orchestra choirs. You cannot perform if at all you never practiced. Like you never came to practice over those 4 periods and you're just there because you're going to cause discord. So it's the same thing as a professional developer or other engineer. If at all you don't practice, you're going to cause discord. Yeah? Bad voices there, like bad code. Yeah? Bad code without testing. You've deployed. You're using the folks within the work to be the bug catchers. If at all you find a bug, tell me. Yeah, so all right. So something else amazing is collaboration. That the best way to learn is through collaborating with other people. There's something amazing when you pair, or rather you pair program, because you get to know how other people think, like how is their mental structure, how do they structure their code. Like you learn something, oh, all right, you normally do maybe using like the way you call your functions, you learn something new when you're doing it with other people. And that does not mean that you have to spend your 100% time with others working. You have to have your alone time to work. So, most people, you can try to be winging on your colleague. You're just there trying to wing. Let's go together, but you're just there. So you have to. Collaboration is good. Spend some good time when you're collaborating with other people, so that you can learn from these people. Mentoring is a way. The next session about becoming a professional developer is you have to allow yourself to be mentored. Like in this career, people try to be wise. Yeah, I know, guys. Most of the time, yeah, because the career is tough. Sometimes people try to put their brains there. Your brains are in space, but you're making it very hard for you to approach mentors. So you have to be approachable. You have to make yourself rather easy. You can interact with other people more easily. So when you go to a teacher, you're not supposed to teach that teacher. You're supposed to listen to what they're doing and allow yourself to be mentored. The best thing, we have so many engineers here in Kenya, some senior engineers. You can try and pick just one and just ask them to be your mentor. Like, I want to be, like, for me, I can ask Nada, I want to be a craft I want to be a senior engineer. I want to be the craftsman of software. I'm not yet there. I'm just a software engineer. So I have to be teachable. I have to approach and request. And for them, because they're also professional, they are going to create time for you. So yeah. Nice. I can go to section 2 or segment 2, which says saying no. This is a very, very key thing for you to become a professional.
Maybe before you jump to section 2, so I see we have quite a number of folks
Awesome.
on LinkedIn actually, and also on YouTube. We have 7 folks. So if you're there and you have any questions, this is your time. You can shoot them in the comment section. I'll be able to humbly or not rudely interrupt John and ask the questions. So please, I'm monitoring the chats. I wanted this to be interactive because that's why it's live. We'll have just chosen to do like a recording, but I prefer it live so that if you have any opinions, disagreement with the author, I would love to hear those so that we know which ones we can spin off to another session where we can maybe dig more into those discussions. So yes, feel free. But over to you, John. You can go to section 2. Sure.
Yeah, that is awesome. Actually, this is not I'm not a priest. I'm not giving a sermon. Just feel free to.
Actually, John, there was actually a question way back when you talked about testing.
Yeah.
Ian Mugenya asked, how do you deal with, let me just show that question here. How do you deal with bugs that only happen in production?
So I'm going to answer just a bit of it, and I know also Nada, you can try because these are, you say these are discussion. So it means that if at all you have found a bug in production, the essence of writing test, it means that many people find bugs within production because you have not written test. Actually, that is like 100% of the time, because when you run code, you compile. There are some languages which cannot compile with errors. Yeah, there are some tight. There are some languages where the component is tight, but there are some which compiles as the program is running. So you're not going to discover that error until that segment of the code is reached. So by that, some language at least they have made it tight. So if at all you have compiled a software and you know that it's running, it means that there are no errors. But the essence of writing test, it means for every section of code, you have written a test. There's no way that you're going to have surprises. Actually, within the book, it was saying that if at all you get a surprise of a code that there's an error which came, let it meet you with surprise. You're there, wow, there's a bug. How comes? Like, we have tested this software, you have done the unit test within yourself. The end users have done the acceptance test, like they have already gone through the code themselves and tested. And then there's something called stress testing, where you guys come in as an army. Like, we are going to test this software to the end. You have to make sure that it fails. So you try to push as many requests as possible, and within that time, it means that you have catched that error within. But it means that if at all you push a code to production and you find some errors, it means at some point we never tested it 100%. Over to you, Nada. I don't know if you can add something on that.
No, I totally agree with you. Like, I like the fact that you said that bugs should catch you by surprise. Like you should be surprised, like, oh wait, and genuine surprise, not like you're faking it when you know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, it's so interesting that the ideas in this book, especially ideas around testing, are the same
Mm-hmm.
ideas expressed in the book that I'm reviewing, the uh, software
Craftsman.
craftsmanship. Yeah,
Yes.
that's so actually those books are sort of so much related. So even folks will be watching the other stream also, you'll find those ideas. So for me, I totally agree with you. The only thing I hadn't to add was don't use production as your testing ground. Like let's send it to production, you'll know it. And even whatever rings, so like the companies which do rings, like what you call self deployments, where you do like an inner ring, a canary, and then you go to a maybe maybe a wider ring with more users, and then GA, like general availability rings. So don't use those inner rings as testing grounds. Like, "Ah, let's just send it and see." Yeah. So I think it's all about caring about like your craft, and yeah, so many things I think are like sort of related to this book. And actually, it's so interesting. This book, I haven't honestly, I have to be honest. It's among my top list of books to read, but I haven't read it yet. But the good thing with these ideas are sort of like the ideas that always resonate around
Yeah, cutting
excellence, and
across.
yeah, they do cut across. So it's good to hear them. So I'm also really like enjoying your review.
Ah, awesome.
Yeah.
I think we can continue. Do you have? You're going to bring other questions as we go. So
Yeah, so maybe what I can do is
yeah.
I'll just also share. There's another question here. So actually, what we can do is we can close with these questions because we have 5 minutes, and then
Oh,
we do
awesome.
segment two. So folks, check out for segment two. I'll just check with John's calendar, like how it is like next week, and also let me know, folks, in the chat. Just tell me. I wanted to do a poll, but I can't do a quick poll here. But let me know between mornings and evenings, which ones do you prefer, like for these sessions? Do you want it to be like a cool down time where when you're coming from work, you want to tune into these live sessions after work or before you get to work? It's sort of I sort of have an answer already from the viewership I'm seeing already, but
Mhm.
I like to hear like from folks which ones you prefer. But other question, yeah, there you go. Joda says evening. Yeah, just put it on chat. Let me know. Evening, mornings. Which one do you? 8 a.m., 8 p.m.
We can be
Greetings, tribe.
flexible.
Yeah, this is from Eno Commandi. Greetings, tribe. I like that. Thank you so much for calling us a tribe. I'm a content
Awesome.
developer and I have been struggling to write clean code that can have an impact on the company. How can I achieve this? That's question one. Is it possible to write scalable and maintainable code without mastering the crazy algorithms? Question two. How can this book help me achieve this? Enoch, very awesome, solid questions. Yeah, I'll just put them on the chat here. So
It is awesome to get that feedback.
yeah, sure.
Mm.
Yeah, Jen, do you
So
wanna do some text? I can also give my text later on, but I would like to hear your text first.
okay, on how you can you get that question again?
Oh,
Like
let me repeat it because I know it's not on the other screen. Yeah,
mhm.
I'm a front-end developer and I have been struggling to write clean code that can have impact on the company. How can I achieve this? So let's handle that first. How can I achieve clean code? So Enoch, that's a question from Enoch Omondi.
So something that comes to mind is number one, make writing clean code an option. Like it's not an option for you to write bad code. Like you have to. The only option you have is to write clean code. There's a there's a movie of a lady who was playing chess and he was playing against a Russian, and this Russian has never lost. It's called the Queen's Gambit. So this
Mhm.
uh, Russian has never lost to anyone. So when the first time that he lost to this lady, the Russian never cried and he was emotionless. And then the lady asked, why are you not emotional? And then he said that, no, I have never lost. Like like it's amazing that I've lost. Like it's not an option for him. Losing was not an option. So the same thing, writing good code, clean code, should not be an option. Should be a must. And now this book can help you because the first thing that you are learning so far is that tests are so mandatory for you to write awesome code. Like for you to push, or rather to push that code to be, by clean I mean what? I mean you have good comments, you have written good comments. Like another software engineer can come and read your code. It's self-explanatory. Like you have, if at all it's in React frontend, you have created components, you have named them correctly, like in a way that if something happens within the system, you just know the particular module, you know the folder to go to, like you know where this code is failing. But if at all you have coupled everything together, it means that you're going to be messed up. You have a spaghetti code. So at the end of each day, you're going to be confused. Like even updating something small is going to be so difficult. You're supposed to make the components, or rather the structure of your code, to be so flexible in a way that you can tweak anything at any time. And when you push, nothing is going to fail. So just make sure that you learn the basics right first, and make sure that you incorporate tests within your code. Yeah. Over to you, Nada.
And I think first I'll just say, just to iterate, Enoch, great question.
Yeah.
For me, I think even where you're coming from, already I think identifying that you want to do better, you want to be a better coder, already it's a big plus, because so many people do not really identify their shortcomings. You just know that you're good, or
Yeah.
you just think you're good, but knowing that even me, like every time I have to say that if I'm not saying that I'm have shortcomings, then it means I'm either I've plateaued, I'm not hungry anymore, or there's something, there's a problem. So your questions are already showing that you're already on that path journey. So you already have the right things in place. So it's just about what Jonas said, mentorship. I think getting someone like a mentor or an apprentice. You were like working as an apprentice under and like a senior engineer, that already will skyrocket you. But if you can't get maybe a senior engineer within the company or within your reach, you can always reach out to people as mentors who you can meet once a week for some help. They can code review your code, give you feedback. So I think that feedback loop is the most important bit where you can always grow. And then the other question was, is it possible to write scalable and maintainable code without mastering the crazy algorithms? So I would have asked you like which was those, but yes, I think I know what you mean.
Digistra.
Yeah, for the most part, I think even we rarely do those, like even big companies that do ask those questions in the interviews, you get in and they're not using those. Like it's just a way of just finding a way of cutting down like saving like people, which I'm not really for it 100%. But that can be another discussion of another day. But for today, I think my answer is yes. You can be able to write scalable and maintainable code without mastering those crazy algorithms, because rarely do you even need them sometimes. But all you need to do is writing maintainable code, clean code, as John has mentioned. Like there's so many principles there, which I think John will be going into in the next sections about like the practical aspects of it, like dry principle. Yeah, you guys have heard solid principles. I think all those are also broken down in this book, and you hear about them in the next sessions. And how can this book help me achieve this? For sure, it will. It will. So just grab the book. There's so many things that you learn from the book. I think if you joined us a little bit later, if you go back and rewind when John was introducing the book, he talked about like just generally about the book and how it can actually really, in the introduction section, I think John had written in your notes about like how the book, the bigger picture about the book, and how it can help any software engineer. Yeah,
Yeah.
so those are great questions. Yeah, I see another question here. I see we are so folks. You'll forgive us. Let's just go over time. Let's close at 10 past 9. We close the show. I'm just calling it a show, but I was
We are
so
tribe. I
yeah,
heard there is a tribe.
yeah. Ian is
Yeah.
asking, how does one create a culture of writing clean code within a team? Great question. John, you want to take that first, and then I can add, or can I give my take, and then you can give it. Let me start. I'll give my take. Also, having been a team lead also like for some time, but nowadays I went back to just being an IC, an individual contributor. But that is a great question. Like, how do you create that clean code culture? I think one thing that is very practical is like taking code reviews seriously as a team. Like never have, even if however trivial the things you're building are, like this is just a front end, you just change a button, you just said you just tell the junior engineer just merge and let it go to production or go to staging. We'll figure out like from staging if something has gone wrong. It's not, I don't think it's the right way. I think the best is to make sure that you put code reviews at the center of everything, knowing that code reviews is not a place actually to bash each other. These are people use code reviews as a place to like maybe show like, oh, I know this stuff, or to say, oh, this is rubbish, or yeah, that's a toxic culture. Like, but the culture of code review should be that I'm open. At first, we are open to learning, getting feedback from others, and also even the person reviewing code is also learning from you. Like, oh, I never knew about this, that you could write a component this way. And even you should give such comments like, hey, thanks for this. I think I never knew about this. Where did you get this from? Someone says, oh, check this link. So it's a learning time. It's not a time for like, it's not a testing, you're not testing code through code reviews. You're actually giving each other feedback and growing. So I think code reviews will be actually a central place where you can grow this clean code culture. Another thing that I never got to do, I've been trying really to do in my teams, but I've never actually managed to do it well because it's good on paper, but it's sometimes hard to implement.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what people call mob like pair programming, but there's another one called mob programming, where you have like
Enlighten us.
so pair
Yeah.
programming, of course, pair programming is another one that is really great. But mob programming is another one that is also doable. You could say every maybe Fridays afternoon at 2 p.m. we'll be meeting for a mob programming session. So this like you just choose a particular thing about maybe it's some code you should have written next week, but you decide to join as a team and say like let's write this component together as a team, and then you can just have one person who is like what you call the driver. So the driver is the one typing, and then all of you are navigators, and people just say, okay, start with that here, write this, and then people can argue about like, why naming this variable this way. So that can be just a good time for programming, and it's not really a productivity thing. You want to move fast with that, but it will be a good time to sort of share best practices across the team, and also it's a time for just chilling back and learning together. But I've never actually managed to ever do that more programming well. Maybe once, maybe when I'm teaching guys, but not really in that aspect of where even myself I'm learning from that more programming session. Yes, but John, what do you think? How do you
Yeah.
create that culture? Yeah.
I guess from the question itself, it means Ian. I actually am seeing the comments from LinkedIn. I have two screens. It's awesome.
Okay, good.
This is awesome. It means that Ian really wants to create a culture within a team. And as a team, before you create a culture, you have to be a leader. You have to start it from your end, like Ian Mugenya. You have to decide, like, from my end, I have to write clean code. You cannot tell people you have 5 developers, you're working together, they're saying you have to write clean code and yours is a bad code. So by this question, it means that you as yourself, you have to be a leader. You have to be, even if you're not a team lead, you have to be that person who writes clean code in a way that people are going to say, hey, awesome, like you're doing an awesome work. Then from there, now you can suggest to a colleague, or rather maybe you're working, there's a team on back end, front end. Can can we rename how we are remaining these components, how we are doing this function? Can we just change the culture, or rather how we are doing this stuff, how we are deploying? So it starts with you actually. That is what I'm trying to say. It starts with you. Then from you can spread these. It's kind of, it's like a virus. When you write clean code, it means the team are going to see, hey man, this person is writing some good code, so they're going to adapt the same within the team. Yeah.
No, that's nice. Yeah. So thanks so much for the folks who joined, and especially those who asked questions. I think you just made the vibe really nice. So, and really appreciate. And I'd love to be doing this more and more, bringing people on board. So if you're out there and you like to come on board, this is your platform. This is not just my place to. Actually, I hate it when it's just me talking and talking. So today I was really just happy to sit back and listen from you, John, and learn actually from you. So it was really awesome. And as you heard, we haven't finished actually the book. Today was just almost like a teaser, just trying to get like everything in. But
Yes.
so John has done section 1. And John, tell me, like, you have how many more sections to go?
We have about I had 4 today, so we
Uh-huh.
have you have more coming. So I think if at all you get more chance, you're going to do more. So yeah, I had 4 sections, so I was just getting to section 2.
Nice. Yeah. So you're out there, you have a book, especially the classics. If you like to come and just review them with us, you're so much welcome. And I'd love even us to have more folks on call. So John, if you like also to come on board on the others videos just to listen in, ask questions, you're welcome. So
More than
and
willing to be sure.
yeah. And then there's something else I'm trying to just put it together. I would like to see whether we could form a community of just like-minded folks who want basically just to become better software developers. And John, by that term, software craftsman, doesn't mean that I'm high. It's just a term that I like choosing to just show that I care about my craft. So and if you come and listen to that book review, you know why I use this term. But the term doesn't really mean that I'm a better software developer than anyone.
No, I know. All of us, we are teachable, spirit, but I love your title.
Yeah.
I cannot use that one because I remember the first time you used it. I came, bro, that is a nice title.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah,
but
anyway,
I appreciate that. I know you take
Yeah.
your skill so serious, but you have that, we must all have that teachable spirit, humble, like you can learn from anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, the stuff is going. It's called. I like names, short names. Just go check ptc.codes. I've just put there on the chat. If you can go check it out. It's perfecting the craft. So that's the community we are trying to form, perfecting the craft community. So the community is all about. I hope my kid is telling me to take him to bed, so I think this is a good time to say goodbye. But we'll talk and see you guys next week. Be on the lookout for the next time we are scheduling this, and it was an awesome time. Have a good night and God bless you.
Peace, man.
Okay, peace. Yeah, let me take my kid to bed.
I don't have a key,
John,
but let me go to bed.
All right. Thanks, John. And thank you so much,
Awesome.
John, for this. And see you then on part 2.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Good.